So I posted a video fairly recently, about a month and a half ago, about how I killed my round of seedlings and I absolutely blew through the genetics I was trying to grow. This got me thinking about my previous grow career, the previous periods of popping seeds, growing the genetics, finding out what the world really has in store for me when it comes to this amazing plant. And it got me thinking about how that was my first ever round of seedlings I killed. And I could not figure out what was going on. So I'm going to go through a few factors that would have helped me on this grow, that would have got my plants from point A to point B, and a couple things that hopefully you can change in your garden if you're struggling to keep your plants alive. Hey guys, I just want to jump in here real quick before we get too far into this video. I want to let you guys know that I am officially an affiliate for AC Infinity, a place where you can get all of your grow setup needs, from ventilation, dehumidifiers, lights, grow tents, you name it, you can probably find it on acinfinity.com. So if you go to acinfinity.com, next time you need to get a different grow light, or the next grow setup is calling your name, or you just need some replacement parts, or maybe a refillable carbon filter, go ahead and check out acinfinity.com and use promo code EXPRESS420 at checkout. That is acinfinity.com. Use promo code EXPRESS420 for 10% off at checkout. Thank you guys very much. Before getting into this video, I want to let you guys know that I am affiliated with seedsmanseeds.com. Yes, you can finally use a referral link down in the description below to get yourself some of the most top-notch genetics in the business. And I'm not going to show their website. We all know what they sell there. I'm not going to show any footage from their website because I want this video to have the least likelihood to get age restricted. But you can head over to Seedsman Seeds. You know the name, you know the game, you know the genetics. There's some big names and some things you have never heard of that look absolutely fantacular. We were looking at them on stream. If you want to go check out my last stream, you can go see what they got going on over there, but you can use the link in the description below, assuming YouTube doesn't absolutely obliterate this video for it being there, and you can go get a discount on some seeds and help out the channel. It would really mean a lot to me, and it would really mean a lot to your garden that you are putting good genetics in to get great product out. Thank you to Seedsman Seeds for being generous enough to give me an affiliate link, and back to the video. So the first and most important thing for me when it came to this run is you need to keep your soil healthy. I think I narrowed it down, and I think the number one thing that was going on in my soil is that it was contaminated with bugs. I saw some stuff crawling around in there. I thought maybe they could be beneficial things. They could be a good thing for my plants to have a little bit more aeration, things burrowing down in the roots. But there is a high probability that I actually got a parasitic bug that was targeting my plant's roots and absolutely annihilating their potential to actually grow. Now, are there some other factors that could have went with that, like maybe some overwatering or something like that? It's very possible, but we'll get into that. I think the number one thing when it came to this run was my soil quality. So if you need to, for peace of mind, buy brand new soil, absolutely inspect it, see what's in there, see if you can see any bugs floating around and other contaminants that you would not want in your garden, and make sure you have healthy soil from a reputable source. Or if you're reusing soil, make sure you inspect it, make sure it's good, make sure it's clean. Cook it if you absolutely need to get any contaminants out. Just make sure you are starting with good, healthy soil, because a great foundation will create a great plant. The second thing I want to get into is you need to keep a moist environment. This is extremely extremely important, especially if you're a beginner and you're afraid of overwatering your seedlings. Yes, you need to back off a little bit, but you also need to focus on the air quality and make sure that air is absolutely humid. We're talking 80s, 90% relative humidity. We need to make sure that they can perspirate through their leaves. We need to make sure as gardeners that they can absorb as much water through their leaves as possible, because while they are also doing photosynthesis, they also use those first couple sets of leaves to absorb more water through their leaves while they are still developing a root system. So once that plant sprouts, you need to back off on watering the soil. You also need to keep the air moisture up. And this is all, of course, to make sure that your plant has the best chance of growing. The next thing is you need to get that air warm. It needs to be around 75 to 80. It needs to be a near tropical environment. These plants will sprout in the spring when it's starting to get pretty warm outside. You'll be in the high 70 to low 80 range. This is where those seedlings are absolutely going to thrive. They are going to have a great time in those temperatures. And while you're looking at the temperature, you also need to have an appropriate light. Now, this isn't to say you need to get in SF 5000 and absolutely crank that motherfucker, but you do need to have a light, and you need to have an appropriate amount of light. If you do not have enough light, your seedlings are going to absolutely stretch to high heavens, similar to how my plants did, which also could be a problem that they were not getting enough light and they were deprived of light. This is another key issue that could have contributed to them in the end ultimately perishing. Make sure you have enough light and do not give them too much. Find that balance very early on, and it will make it a lot easier to adjust in the future. And if you need to know how to find that balance, the best way I found is you need to crank that light up to where your plants are not stretching beyond their genetic capability, which varies plant to plant, so you're just going to need to feel it out in the beginning, but you need to make sure you don't have too much to the point where your plants are starting to light bleach. And I have videos about that, but essentially your plant is going to start yellowing because they are getting burned by that light if it is too intense. So you need to keep an eye on those two factors. Make sure your plants are not suffering because of the amount of light you're giving them. Give them a nice full spectrum light. If you have a blurple, they can work, but I would not recommend buying one specifically for seedlings. Now, my last tip I want to let the new growers know is you need to pH your water. This isn't so important for germinating the seeds. They just need the water, they need to pop, and they need that good head start to be able to just launch into the seedling stage. But once you hit the seedling stage, you are now dealing with a plant that needs nutrients, and it needs them to be viable, it needs them to be available. Once you sprout your seedling, this is the time to get your pH narrowed down. 6.0 to 6.5 is normally the range I go for if you're absolutely new to growing seedlings and don't want your new genetics to die. The bottom line is these plants are absolutely going to need some nutrients right off the gate. They come with some in their seed when they start out, but this depletes very quickly, and they still need the proper pH to be able to absorb those nutrients in the first place. So if your plants are not pH'd, they're not warm, they don't have enough light, and the soil is unhealthy, you can almost guarantee that plant is going to die. But the bottom line is genetics are way too expensive nowadays to be risking losing a seed over something so small. And I now know this firsthand. So if you like this video, if you think it'll help you, go ahead and leave a like. Go ahead and check out Seedsman and AC Infinity, and even if you don't buy their products, go send them a thank you for supporting a small creator like me. And if you are absolutely new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you want to learn more about growing and more about gardening and just creating healthy product. And I will see you next time. Thank you very much.